Hello, this is Spartan Commander, and this is the 108th Rome Total War Brotherhood game that I've put onto YouTube. The team I'm in today consists of Brotherhood member Pompey, who has bought the Rome Brutii faction. Then we have Brotherhood member Demon Soul, who has also bought the Rome Brutii faction. And then myself, Spartan Commander, who has bought the Rome Julii faction. So there's our team there. Pompey and myself, I think Pompey's been in the Brotherhood for approximately 7 years now, and I've been in the Brotherhood since I think it's about early 2006, and Demon Soul has been in the Brotherhood for some time now as well. So I think we've got a lot of experience there, a lot of Brotherhood experience and a lot of RTW experience there as well. As you can see there, I've got my usual 14 infantry units there and 6 cavalry units. And in this battle we're up against a really well-known RTW clan from a few years ago. A lot of veterans on RTW will know this clan as soon as you actually see them. They are a very well-respected clan. When they first started on RTW some years ago now, they were a CWB clan, but they then went on to 31k. And the enemy team consists of core member Danny, who has bought the Rome Scipio faction. Then core member Fail, who has also bought the Rome Scipio faction. And then core's leader, First Prime, who has also bought the Rome Scipio faction. So you have got literally years and years of RTW experience there. I'm just going to pause the game a little bit to talk about the core clan. In the early years of RTW, the core clan was formed by, I believe, First Prime. And when CWB rules first came out, CWB stands for Clan Warbelt. In the early days of Rome Total War, clans played for 12.5 denarii, 12,500 denarii. And then a couple of years later, that then went up to 15k. So to start off with, they actually, the CWB rules were played at 12,500. So then the core clan then played CWB rules for a number of years, and then they became 31k clan as well as the 15k clan. And they were both really good at both of those sums of money games. And they became well respected, and they were a great clan to play against, because they always basically guaranteed a great battle. So here we have the core clan, who have taken a break from RTW for about 18 months, but I'm glad to say are now back on to RTW. So it's the core clan against the Brotherhood clan. This has got the ingredients to be a classic battle, and I hope you enjoy it. And this was a brilliant battle to be in. At this very early stage of the battle, you can see that both teams are squaring up to each other here. The core clan always had a reputation for being a very attacking clan, so this should be interesting, because Pompey is also got a reputation for attacking. So my guess is that the action's probably going to kick off on the left flank there, because First Prime is a real attacking player as well. So it should be interesting to see where the battle kicks off from. My guess is on the left flank. At this stage of the battle, I thought I would pause the game just to give you a little bit of RTW history here. If you notice that, can you see in front of the main battle lines of the armies, all the players have got units in open order. These days we call them the Pilot Shield units. But did you know that when RTW first started, people didn't used to do that? People just used to, armies just used to approach each other in close order and then pilot each other in close order. And then one day a Brotherhood member called Judas thought, I know, I'm going to put one unit in open order in front of my main battle line, because if you think about it, if a unit's in open order, then it should avoid the enemy pilers, suffer less damage. And that's what he did. He put one unit in front of his main battle line in open order, and when everybody in the game saw how effective this one unit was at soaking up enemy pilers, and then of course his battle line then threw pilers into the close order infantry on the other team, and they saw how much casualties that caused. So since Judas first put that one piler shield unit in front of his main battle line, it's really caught on. Of course, the piler shield units now have evolved. You can see more units being used. At this early stage of the battle, you can see that Brotherhood member Pompey is charging in some cavalry into a Scipii Testudo unit there, a unit in Testudo. What he's aimed to do there was just to hit it and cause as many casualties as he could, and then back his cavalry off. As I say, on this left flank here, where Pompey is facing first prime, this is where I would expect the battle to kind of kick off, because they are both very aggressive players. As you can see there, first prime's got several of his units in Testudo there, which of course will stop a lot of damage from piler hits there. As you can see in the centre there, there's also some units in Testudo, and I just got the feeling this is kind of the lull before the storm, because I think once this battle starts, as I said earlier, this has got the ingredients to be an absolute classic battle. So I think once it gets going, it should be really enjoyable to watch. If you notice over on the right flank here, I'm just doing a right flanking action here. Basically, what I'm doing this for is to kind of disrupt their line, their battle line a little bit. Just make them move and react to what I'm doing here. If you notice, I've moved out, so Danny's moving some of his units around to react to my units, and it's just kind of, if you like, it's tactical, but it's just kind of being a bit of a nuisance, because sometimes if you're a bit of a nuisance, you can frustrate the enemy in front of you, and this can make them do rash things and make mistakes that you, of course, then can take advantage of. So as I say, I'm just moving out there to the right, just to be a bit of a nuisance to make him react to me now. I'll then probably move back a little bit and then back over to the left. As I say, it's just using a little bit of needle there, just to kind of disrupt their line a little bit, and maybe try and frustrate the enemy in front of me there, so they might make a few rash mistakes. Meanwhile, over onto the left flank here, you can see that our allies' Brutii army and the enemy Scipii army now are almost fully engaged there. If you notice, our allies moving some infantry out to the left flank here, probably with a view to attack the enemy on the flank. Right, you can see our ally now is charging in his Brutii cavalry, 6 units, and bang, as that cavalry hits. But if you notice now, the enemy Scipii cavalry are now counter-attacking with their cavalry as well. That is some massive hits going in there. Look at the impacts of all that cavalry and all that infantry. As you can see, our ally now is bringing over his Brutii cavalry to help our ally there on the left flank. I'm just going to pause the game here, because I just want to show you a general picture of what's happening on the battlefield, and then I've got a question to ask you. And I think this question probably will appeal to both new players and older players as well. Now, if you notice over on our left flank here, you can see that a heck of a lot of our allies' Brutii infantry and cavalry have been routed by the enemy Scipii cavalry and infantry there. You can see a heck of a lot of our allies have started to rout. In fact, it's almost a chain rout there. So the question is, if you were in charge of my cavalry here, what would you do? Would you charge these 6 units of cavalry over to the left in the hope of helping your allies there on that left flank that looks like it's breaking? Is that where you would charge your cavalry? Straight over there to help? Bearing in mind you've got some more Scipii cavalry there waiting to charge in as well that could just finish our left flank off. So I could bring all my cavalry over there to charge in there to help my allies. But in front of me I've got a full army of 6 well-upped cavalry and about 14 infantry units right in front of me. Those cavalry units could come around my flank if I move my cavalry away, and the infantry could smash into my formation. So should I charge my cavalry over to the left, or should I leave it there just watching the enemy cavalries on my side. Which do you think you would do? Charge your cavalry over to that left flank, or just wait and see what the enemy did in front of you? Let's see what happens. Okay, so in that split second of seeing the problem on our left, I've now decided to charge my cavalry over. I'm aware of the danger in front of me, so I'm going to move my infantry formation over towards my allies a little bit there. If you notice there, my cavalry now are charging over to help my allies. There are still some of my allies' infantry units fighting there, so I'm not running into routing troops that much, and I'm hoping that that cavalry of mine is going to make a difference over on the left flank there as they charge in. But notice in front of my infantry, can you see that the enemy now, seeing that my cavalry have gone, have charged their infantry in. I'm just going to pause the game here for a second. Right, can you see that the enemy in front of me has done a full out infantry charge into my front units there, into my forward units? Can you see that the Scipio infantry are charging in? Then we've got 6 well-upped cavalry in wedge formation is going to charge through their fighting infantry into my formation. Now if you notice, my infantry formation are always, all the units are interlocked. If you notice that in all the battles that I'm in, my infantry formation units are always interlocked. I believe that gives them strength, and that's why I always interlock them. Now when this cavalry charges through that infantry, do you think that my formation is going to break? Do you think that the forward units are going to start to chain route, and then that would start all the other units chain routing? What do you think is going to happen as that cavalry and infantry hit? Meanwhile, over on our left flank here, you can see the situation here. You can see my cavalry is charging in, and then Pompey's cavalry is charging in as well there, and it looks like we got the Scipii infantry and cavalry in a bit of a vice there. And in the middle you can see it's quite quiet. In the centre it's quite quiet. But let's see what happens here to my army when that cavalry charges in. Be interesting to see. And there they go. Let's see exactly what happens here. I'm zoomed in here so we can see the effect of all that cavalry and all that infantry charging in. And bang! I can already see some of my units starting to rout already with that massive impact. But do you see how my units being interlocked together? Can you see how the strength is holding, managing to hold there? See, that cavalry has penetrated to my general unit in the back line of my infantry formation, yet the vast majority of my infantry are still managing to hold. Now if you notice, Danny is now bringing his cavalry back out with a view to rally and then charge back in, so he gets a full cavalry charge bonus. Can you see I'm now bringing my cavalry over? I'm just going to pause the game for a second here so we can take stock of exactly what's happened there. Okay, so you can see that Danny's infantry are still out and out attacking my formation at the front. You can see very aggressively, and he's pulled his cavalry back ready to charge them in again. Meanwhile, over on our left, remember that the enemy Scipii are the blue units here, and as you can see, they are having great success on our left flank. You can see loads of our allies' Brutii army starting to rout there. Loads and loads. So our left flank is extremely in a perilous condition there. Our centre, as you can see, the centre, there's not a lot going on in the centre, but Demon Soul has sent reinforcements over to the left to try and shore up our left flank as much as we can. As you can see here, I'm going to try and charge my cavalry in here to try and take some of the pressure off my infantry. But as you can see, Danny's Scipii cavalry are back out, rallied and ready to charge in. My guess is he'll time his cavalry hit just as my cavalry hit the battle zone there, and there you can see his Scipii cavalry have charged back in there. And look at all that cavalry from my side, his side, and bang, straight into that melee there. What a massive hit of cavalry! And don't forget, all the time both infantries are fighting like mad in the middle there. I'm starting to see some of my Julii units starting to rout there. Can you see some enemy Scipii cavalry coming in behind me as well? And bang, as they hit in behind me. It wouldn't surprise me if some of my Julii units started to rout now, and if it starts, there you are, I can see them starting to rout, and it could start a chain rout if I'm not careful here. So notice Danny's pulling his cavalry out again, knowing that he's got his full charge bonus. He's going to pull them out again to charge them in again. If you notice, my allies are sending over infantry and cavalry units to help support my army here. But if you notice, a lot of my Julii units are starting to rout. If you notice, I'm pulling my cavalry back now, what's left of them anyway, to charge back in. Can you see the Scipii cavalry charging in again? causing more of my units to rout. There you can see my allies' cavalry charging, as well as what was left of my cavalry were charging again, once again counter-attacking, trying to take the pressure off my infantry. What a massive battle that is, and bearing in mind it's only a 3v3, it is extremely intense. I remember feeling at the time almost epic. Right, okay, I'm going to pause the game here so we can take stock of exactly what's happening here. As you can see, my allies have sent some units over to help me, but if you notice on the left flank here, remember that the Scipii are the enemy team. You can see that the blue Scipii infantry has actually won on our left flank and is now bringing reinforcements over to the right flank now. So our left flank is basically folded after a really fantastic battle on that left, but they're now bringing reinforcements over. Here over on our right, you can see that it is really touch and go on what's going to happen. Right, let's see what happens when we restart the battle. As you can see, Pompey's pulled his cavalry back out after getting his full charge bonus. I'm pulling my cavalry back out as well. But you can see the enemy reinforcements on the right flank are almost on us now. So it is going to be really, really touch and go on whether we're going to be able to hold or not here. As you can see, I'm charging the remnants of my battle damaged cavalry in here all the time, just trying to take pressure off my infantry. Pompey's moved his cavalry round a little bit. That's a nice little angle to charge his cavalry in there. My guess is that Scipii infantry has been fighting for a long time, so this cavalry hit could rout them. That's a massive hit they're taking there on the flank. It wouldn't surprise me if it did rout, and you can see a lot of the enemy Scipii units starting to rout now. There's a nice little cavalry hit there by Pompey's Brutii cavalry.
The gods be praised!
There you go, you can see a lot of the Scipii forces have now started to rout there. But if you look over, you can still see there's a heck of a lot of Scipii infantry left on the battlefield. And as you can see, if you look carefully, you can see it's still quite an even battle there. It's kind of, we've just taken out the enemy army on our right as they took out our allies' army on the left. So really it's still pretty even if you start looking at it. I'm trying to show you different angles from the battlefield, one side then the other, so you can really appreciate how kind of, if you like, epic this battle is. Can you see how smart move by the enemy Scipii general there, taking units around the rear and the flank? Nice little move. Instead of going head on, he's moving units tactically round to the flank and the rear to charge in. Nice little move by the enemy Scipii general there. As you can see, there's a heck of a lot of Scipii infantry left on the battlefield, but Pompey is using his cavalry really well. If you notice the Pompey's Brutii cavalry out there to the right, if he aims those cavalry charges just right there, he could cause some routs. Can you see that the enemy Scipii infantry still doing tactical moves, still taking units around the rear and the flank of the armies? I'm just going to pause the game here so we can take stock of exactly what's happening. As you can see, obviously the green Brutii units and my Julii, the red Julii units, are our team, and all the blue are the enemy team. So just simply looking at the battlefield there now, you can see there's a heck of a lot of enemy Scipii blue units left there. So as you can see, this game is still really in the balance. They've almost got my Julii infantry surrounded there. They're moving units round to get behind and to attack the flank, putting pressure on all my units there. So I'm just hoping I'm going to be able to hold, because I think if a few of my units start to rout, that would then start a chain rout and we will lose. So I'm just hoping I can hold on here. Just like to say, really great support from my allies' infantry, and Pompey's, if you like, precise pinpoint cavalry hits as he brings in his cavalry attacks. There you are. You can see the cavalry attack going in now. He hasn't got a lot of cavalry left, but using them really well. And bang! Straight into that tired Scipii infantry there. Routed some of their units. There was a nice little cavalry hit there by Pompey. Demon Souls infantry is holding extremely well here against the Scipii infantry as well. So, as I say, it's still really touch and go. Look how many Scipii infantry are left. Still lots, and they've still got their general left. Can you still see there's a general left there as well? So things are really, really intense at the moment. That's going to be a great cavalry hit here, I think, coming in from Pompey there. As you remember, those Scipio infantry are battle damaged and extremely tired. So when that cavalry hits, it wouldn't surprise me if they start to rout a lot of the units there, and bang, as that cavalry unit goes in. You can see a lot of the Scipio infantry starting to rout now, and there you go, the generals just routed. Can you see the Scipio generals just routed there? So the morale of the Scipio troops now will start to drop. And bearing in mind they're already tired and battle damaged, it wouldn't surprise me if they all started to rout now. And there you go, you can see most of the Scipio units are routing now. Well, I'd just like to say what an intense battle that was, and I hope you would agree that was one heck of an epic battle there. Bearing in mind it's only a 3v3, can you see where most of the action was? See the dead mostly on the left flank and on the right flank, not many dead in the centre. So that was a strange battle, really, fought on both flanks more than in the centre. I'd just like to say really well played to the core team there. I thought they showed their experience, great tactical moves, great cavalry hits. You know, they were a really great team, and the core clan have always been well respected and feared on the RTW battlefield. Really well played to them. And I'd like to say really well played to Pompey and Demon Soul. I thought their support, their cavalry hits, the tactical way they moved their infantry around the battlefield, I thought they played extremely well there. And if you notice the dead, the piles of dead, I mean, when you look at these piles of dead, it looks more like a 4v4 battle than a 3v3. That's how intense the battle was. As I say, Core has had about an 18-month break from RTW, but you can still see what great players they are. And that's one of the best battles I think I've ever been in RTW, win or lose. And afterwards, both teams said that it was a great battle, whether they'd won or lost. So, the Spartan Commander saying, hope you enjoyed the battle, and hope to see you soon. Bye for now.